thank you for joining us. I'm Laura Markova. Is your New Year's resolution to learn more about what happens in your city? Then get ready to take notes and let's connect. Today on Let's Connect, we're kicking off the new year with an in-depth look at last year's biggest buzzword. We'll tell you why in this city, biotech is the new black. Plus, you may have heard of a small company called Quest Diagnostics. Okay, it's not really that small. In fact, it's a multi-billion-dollar Fortune 500 global leader in its field, which is why we'll talk to a Quest insider about how the industry giant plans to make big waves in Marlborough this year. And later, our expert panel joins us for an insightful look at the year ahead. But first, did you know that Marlborough is home to nearly 30 life sciences companies? According to the Boston Globe, about a third of the city's commercial real estate activity comes from the life sciences sector, which is a big deal for a small city of 40,000. WMCT TV's Alicia Brand takes a closer look at the reasons behind Marlborough's rising reputation as a regional biotech hub.
Over the past year, Marlborough has made some big steps in becoming a hub for biotechnology companies.
Strategically, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts is promoting these industries, so it only makes sense that Marlborough join with the Commonwealth strategy to entice businesses from around the country and around the world to the state and to Marlborough in the life sciences, and we've been relatively successful.
Of course, becoming a biotech hub does not happen overnight, but Marlborough does seem to be rising to that status.
The ultimate goal is to make Marlborough known throughout the medical device community, the life science communities, as a place to be successful, and we're slowly working at that. We've made a little headway, and we need to continue on that path. So we become synonymous with these industries as a place to be.
Boston Biomedical Associates is one example of a new biotechnology company that is happy to have chosen residency in Marlborough.
BBA has been experiencing rapid growth over the past several years, and we've been looking to expand from our current location, and Marlborough offers also expanding horizon in the biotech arena, and it was a perfect match for us. It's convenient for us in proximity to where my staff resides, and it is an excellent proximity to many of our clients, so it was a perfect match for us.
The city of Marlborough truly has exactly what big companies are looking for.
Marlborough right now offers companies more options, less money, with kind of an easier lifestyle. I'm fortunate enough to represent a number of buildings in Marlborough, so I get to hear from owners that own companies that are in Cambridge, Burlington, Waltham, Framingham, and how the rents have gone way up and how there's not a lot of quality options. And if companies are looking for 5,000, 20,000, 50,000 square feet, Marlborough, its proximity right off of 495, not far from Mass Pike, Route 9, and closer to the bedroom communities has become a tremendous draw.
When it comes to Marlborough occupancy, companies better beware because we are filling up, which of course is not a bad thing for the city.
The vacancy rate of the availability has gone way down. If you're looking for, from 1,000 to 5,000 square feet, your options are dramatically less than they were several years ago. And on a larger scale, if you're looking for 50 to 100 square feet, there's not as many options.
Marlborough becoming a biotech hub will only continue to help city growth in relation to jobs, residents, and local businesses. I'm Alicia Brandt, reporting for MEDC's Let's Connect.
Thanks, Alicia. To tell us more about the life sciences industry in Marlborough and the state of Massachusetts, I'm joined in studio by the Director of Economic Development and Global Affairs at the Massachusetts Biotechnology Council, Peter Aber. Welcome, Peter. Thanks for being here.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Very nice to have you. Now, I want to start with looking at the broader perspective, the life sciences industry in Massachusetts. What is the effect of that on the state economy, and how does it compare nationally?
Over 80,000 jobs in the life sciences in Massachusetts. In total, close to $10 billion in payroll into the Massachusetts economy. It's only about 3.5% of the employment, but it contributes over 6% of the payroll. So it's a significant part of the economy here. It's a major exporter. About 20% of all exports are connected with the life sciences.
So it's big.
It is big, and in the drug development side of things, in the biopharmaceutical space, as we say, we're about a little over 11% of the entire drug development pipeline that's based in the United States is based right here in Massachusetts.
Wow. So how does it compare to other states? Are we the leading state?
Third parties say yes. We are at the apex of the biopharmaceutical industry especially, but also medical devices, and so everything from drug development to the medical device side of things. There is no cluster in the United States that is as broad and as deep as the industry is here in Massachusetts. California has a larger industry, but it's also 6 times our size, and so it's a little more spread out, a little more diffuse. Here you have an incredible concentration of people, expertise, cutting-edge technologies taking place right here in Massachusetts.
Speaking of cutting-edge technologies, what are the current technologies that are in development that you know of?
On the drug development side, the development of biologic products has been a relatively new feature of the medicines industry, and Massachusetts is a place that excels at the development of biologic-based drugs. So as opposed to the old pharmaceutical drugs, the stuff that's in your medical cabinet, biologics are administered intravenously, typically, and they really are the future of the development of medicines. The development of biologics, medical devices, Massachusetts has always been very strong. But also, in terms of new technologies, how do you reduce the drug development timeline? How do you make that go faster so that the cost of these products is less? So, company here in Marlborough, Accelerex, now part of GE Healthcare, is at the very cutting edge of new technologies to reduce the footprint of manufacturing in the industry, reduce the cost, make it more efficient, so that at the end of the day, when we're paying for medicines, we're paying less rather than more.
Very good. Well, let's talk about Marlborough itself. So the Massachusetts Biotechnology Council, MassBio, they named Marlborough a platinum bio-ready community about a year ago. What does that mean, and how did Marlborough gain that rating?
Marlborough did everything we could ask. From the industry perspective, Marlborough did everything we could ask of a community in terms of the zoning, the allowable uses, allowing research and manufacturing in this industry, allowing it by right rather than through a laborious permitting process. Everything they did, we couldn't have asked it anymore. And so Marlborough has really gotten into the game in terms of the life sciences, and is a major subcluster within this wonderful Massachusetts cluster that we have in the life sciences.
What is the benefit, from a company's perspective, what is the benefit of being part of a cluster?
It makes everything easier. So if you're a small startup company and you're looking for guidance, where do you go? Well, here in Massachusetts, there are serial entrepreneurs who've done it before. There are venture capital firms that can provide investment. There are these wonderful hospital and university-based research institutions that you can tap into. From even the construction of lab space, we have so many people who are expert at making the best kind of lab space, and all that know-how. That's what you get in a integrated cluster. And that's what we have.
Why Marlborough? Why are companies flocking to Marlborough? In the past, say 3 years, there's been 8 or 9 companies that have come and set up shop in Marlborough. Now we have Boston Scientific coming this year. We have Quest Diagnostics. Why are people coming here?
Marlboro, I think it fits it is a well positioned for a lot of different types of opportunities. So you can have early stage research done here because you have the right permitting in place and the right zoning in place. You can accommodate more mature companies, companies like Synovian and so forth, and Quest, because you have the kind of space that again has the allowable uses that these companies are looking for. Infrastructure is outstanding, and yet it's still very connected to sort of the research hubs in Cambridge and Boston. It's a very quick shot into town, so it really fits as a destination for a lot of different types of opportunities within the life sciences.
And very quickly, before I let you go, what are the local companies to watch?
Well, you have quite a few. Synovian is a very important company in the development of new medicines, especially in the area of respiratory. Quest Diagnostics is a global leader in the diagnostic side of the industry. Accelerex, now part of GE Healthcare, doing really important things in terms of the manufacturing side of process development within the medicines industry. So there are a lot of I could go on and on.
Well, great. Thank you so much, Peter, for being here. That's Peter Baer, Director of Economic Development and Global Affairs at MassBio. Great insight. Thanks for being with us. And Peter will be back later in the show to join our expert panel. In the meantime, you can find more on MassBio's activities on its website, massbio.org. Don't forget, you can also connect with us on Facebook and Twitter. Just look for Marlboro EDC and be sure to use the hashtag Let's Connect if you want to tweet to us about the show. It's time for us to take a break now, but stay tuned. When we come back, Quest Diagnostics Regional Vice President of Operations, Timothy Anderson, joins us in studio to tell us all about the Regional Hub Lab coming to Marlboro. And later we talk biotech with our expert panel, so don't go anywhere.
Hey everybody! Heart disease affects 1 in every 3 women in America, but you can fight back. There's no time to lose. Mothers, sisters, daughters, families, and friends, it's time to shout louder, stand stronger, and demand change. Let's go!
To the Batmobile! Dang it.
To the invisible jet!
Dang it.
Together, we can put an end to heart disease. It's time to go red for women. I could use your help. Yeah! Learn more from the American Heart Association at www.goredforwomen.org.
Welcome back to Let's Connect, where we're talking biotech. As we speak, what's been dubbed the Lab of the Future is being built right here in Marlboro. The 200,000 square foot space at the city's Forest Park development was leased by Quest Diagnostics at the end of 2012 and is expected to open for business later this year. Joining me now in studio to talk about Quest's New England Hub Lab is Quest Diagnostics Regional Vice President of Operations, Timothy Anderson. Tim, welcome and thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me.
Now, Tim, I want to start from a broader perspective. Let's talk a little bit about Quest itself. What does it do? What is it? What is Quest Diagnostics?
Sure. Quest Diagnostics is the largest lab in the United States. And in essence, what we do is we test patients' blood draws, and we touch probably 150 million patients every single year, which is a huge population, a significant part of the American population. So the blood tests that we do is anywhere from the basic blood tests that when you go to a physician and you start talking to them, or you go to your annual visit, to a very what we call genetic test, DNA type testings, genetic type testings. We classify those as esoteric testing.
And what are some of the kind of most innovative things that you're working on? Anything that you want to share with us?
Sure. I mean, the most popular one that I shouldn't say popular. The most recent one that we've been working on is this the BRCA gene.
Right.
So the
Breast
BRCA gene is exactly right. It's the breast cancer gene, and it detects a probability in women of having this gene, and basically gives them some information to help make some very tough decisions in the future should they find that they have this. So these are just one of many tests that we're working on. As you can imagine, being the largest lab in the United States, we really focus on a lot of the R&D and the new testing. Mm-hmm. So it is I will tell you that there is not another lab out in the United States that has a broader menu, a wider menu of testing than we do.
Very good. Now, you guys are based out of New Jersey, but you have decided to relocate your New England hub lab here in Marlborough. Why Marlborough?
So Marlborough is centrally located. Now, before I answer the why Marlborough piece, you have to understand that we have labs across the entire United States. So we're really broken up into geographies. So the geography that we want to service here with this new Lab of the Future is, in fact, the New England market. When you start looking at the New England market, we have in excess of 7, maybe 8 labs now that are spread across the New England states, the 6 New England states. And what we want to do is consolidate them into one location, and obviously that location needs to be centralized. And I don't think you can get more centralized than Marlborough when you start talking about New England.
In terms of location?
In terms of location, in terms of access to the interstates, as you can imagine, we have to pick up, we will pick up well over 100,000 patients' blood draws every single day.
Wow.
And when you do that across the entire New England states, you have to get there somehow. And the interstate highway system is key to getting us to the centrally located here in
Right.
Marlborough.
Now tell us a little bit more about this lab. It sounds massive, 200,000 square feet. I was there a few weeks ago when the governor was here.
That's right.
Tell us, what is going to be happening in that lab in particular?
So the lab itself is, as you say, it's about 200,000 square feet. To put that in perspective, because there's not a lot of people that understand what 200,000 square feet is, just the lab itself, don't take into account the office space or the lunch space or anything, just the lab itself is going to be 2.5 football fields wide. So it's a rather large lab. But you also have to understand that we are going to be servicing, as I said before, over 100,000 patients every single night. So we have to have a capability to service that many people, that many patients every day. And I will tell you that it's an exciting venture that we're on.
Well, besides the space, you also need the manpower to actually do all that work. In terms of employment here, first of all, you're bringing in a number of your employees from your existing labs.
Right.
How many employees are coming here into the city that are already existing employees, and how many new jobs are you going to create?
Well, as I said before, it's a good question. As I said before, we have 7 or 8 different labs spread across the New England states. So what we want to do is obviously move them into the central location, which is Marlborough. Unfortunately, we know that not everybody's going to come with us. There are people in Connecticut that are going to choose not to come. There are people in Cambridge, believe it or not, that are going to choose not to come. So we will bring as many of those people as we possibly can, but there will still be some vacancies here in the Marlborough Lab of the Future. So we will need to hire some local talent. And we're looking for those types of people to join us.
So can you give me some numbers and maybe tell me some of the positions that you'll be looking to fill?
Just in the New England area, we'll have over 1,500 to 1,700 people. Just the building itself will house almost 1,000 people. And we are looking to hire anything from a courier driver all the way up to a medical doctor. And so cytotechs, genetics specialists, medical technologists. I mean, you name it, we do it, we have it, and those are the types of skill sets that we'll be looking for in this new lab.
Very good. And quickly, when do you expect this lab to be operational and ready
So
to
we'll
rock?
get the keys, quote unquote, the keys to the lab in the May timeframe, but we won't be able to test because there's a lot of validation that needs to occur prior to the actual testing until late summer timeframe. So when we're looking at jobs per se, it'll be late summer timeframe to early fall.
Well, that's great news, Tim. Look forward to seeing what you guys do here, and best of luck with the move.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Quest Diagnostics Regional Vice President of Operations, Timothy Anderson. Again, thank you for being here, and please do stay with us. You will be back coming towards the end of the show. And you at home, don't go anywhere. Tim will be back after the break to join our expert panel and delve deeper into the future of Marlborough's biotech industry. Stay with us, don't go anywhere.
home safely is just a click away. And choosing the right seat for your little one's age and size will take you down the road to safer travels.
How can I ever thank you enough?
Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
Welcome back to Let's Connect, where we're discussing the past, present, and future of the biotech industry in Marlborough. It's time to meet our panel. With me in studio are MassBio Director of Economic Development and Global Affairs, Peter Aber, and Quest Diagnostics Regional Vice President of Operations, Timothy Anderson. And joining them is Marlborough Economic Development Corporation Executive Director, Tim Cummings. Welcome back, gentlemen, and thank you for joining us, Tim. Now, I'm going to start with you, Tim, because you're new to the set. Tim, you are part of the Marlborough Economic Development Corporation, and you've done a lot to bolster the biotech industry here in Marlborough. And over the last few months, we've had a lot of press, actually, and many of the major newspapers are now calling Marlborough a regional hub. Did this happen by accident, or was this a planned thing?
Well, Laura, it was a planned strategy that the city of Marlborough decided to endeavor upon when we decided to do this after receiving clear direction from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. If you read Secretary Bielecki's Choosing to Compete in the 21st Century and Economic Development Plan, outlines the strategic goals of the Commonwealth, and it made sense for the city of Marlborough to adopt and mirror those goals.
Very good. Now, Peter, I want to ask you, Marlborough isn't the only city in Massachusetts, and we just talked about that. There are others that are considered biotech hubs. Cambridge comes to mind. Is this an issue that there is a separation between different cities or towns that run this type of business, or is this a good thing for Massachusetts?
It's a good thing for Massachusetts. We're one big, wonderful cluster, very deeply networked and connected. And we have different markets within this broad cluster, and you have a lot of early stage research in Cambridge, but Marlborough presents wonderful opportunities for a whole spectrum of different types of companies within the life sciences. When we're looked at from outside of Massachusetts, they see one very integrated, very strong cluster driving cutting edge technology in the life sciences.
And Tim, your company has actually chosen to come to Marlborough and really consolidate its operations here in New England. Do you agree with Peter that there is no disjointment, that even though you are here in Marlborough, you really are representing all of Massachusetts, all of New England? Absolutely.
I mean, our area is a lot larger than just either the town of Marlborough or the city of Boston or the state of Massachusetts. It's all of New England. So I think, as Peter says, we are looked at probably across the nation as just a group of people in the Northeast that know how to do high tech and bio industry.
And Tim, back in October, the MEDC held a summit on manufacturing, and we talked about innovation there. And a lot of the manufacturing companies did say at the time one of their major issues is finding that right type of person that can work in their company, that trained employee. Is this one of the things that you found is an issue for the companies that you've spoken to that have now come into Marlborough?
Absolutely. It's not just a Marlborough issue. It's not just a regional issue. It's an issue across the entire Commonwealth, where there's a skills gap in terms of employees and their training and what employers need to actually execute on those jobs. And we need to, as a state, as a region, and then as a local municipality, work together to develop the right type of workforce development training and programs.
Is this an issue, Peter, here in Massachusetts? You're saying it's a global issue. Do you think it's an issue, or do you think it's actually something that is driving companies here?
So the great differentiator for Massachusetts within the global life sciences industry is this outstanding workforce that we can draw from. We import people, we grow our own talent, but in order to lead in this industry, really in order to compete in this industry, we need to lead it. And so we need to have the best people. So we always have to be focused on workforce and developing the workers for the future of this industry to help drive the innovation that's so key within our industry.
Was that something that drove you or your company, Quest, to come here to Marlborough?
Absolutely. I mean, as Peter says, the key to any business, any successful business, is the people themselves. And without the people, the companies, I don't care who you are, just not going to succeed. So that is actually the number one reason that we selected the Marlboro location.
Oh, very good. Now, Tim, in the past 2 years, we've seen a lot of major companies come here, including Quest. Now we're expecting Boston Scientific to move their entire headquarters here in Marlboro. You have sat in a lot of these meetings, a lot of the negotiations that actually brought these companies here. What do you find were their major concerns? Let's say the top 3 issues that they were looking to resolve by coming here.
Well, every business has their own motivations that drive them to make the strategic decisions that they do in a site selection process. Some of the common themes, though, throughout was location, access to major interstates, access to a strong workforce, and human capital were 2, off the top of my head, overarching themes that we heard in each meeting where we discussed Marlboro and what Marlboro has to offer in terms of strengths.
What does all of this mean for the local economy here? You, as an economic development corporation, are really ultimately aiming to improve the lives of the residents here. How is the average residents of Marlboro benefiting from this?
Well, off the top of my head, the undercurrent of any strong community is jobs, and to have access and the opportunity to work at some major employers is by far one of the best drivers or strengths to a healthy community. And with that being said, over the last 2 years, we have, I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but something like 4,000 new jobs to the city of Marlboro, which is only going to help the local municipality and the region as a whole grow, thrive, and prosper.
Very good. Do you agree, Peter? Is that what you see here in Marlboro, and is that something that you see across Massachusetts?
Marlboro offers great advantages for companies that have certain characteristics, and it's wonderful for Massachusetts to be able to offer venues like Marlboro provides. And I think we also have to think about the patients that we're serving through this industry, and everybody in Marlboro should be very proud of the fact that you have such outstanding companies in the community, from Synovian doing drug development to Quest on the other end providing diagnostics for patients. We're about serving the needs of the community and the global community at that. So it's an industry to be proud of.
Very good, and we just have just under a minute left, so if I can ask all of you to kind of give me your projection on what do you expect over the next 5 years is going to happen in Marlboro here. Tim?
Well, I'd like to think that we'll continue upon our path of success and see more life science companies, whether it's in the pharmaceuticals or a medical device or other type of innovation companies, consider Marlboro and hopefully make Marlboro their home.
Peter?
Companies within our industry love a crowd. They like to be next to other companies within the industry, and so I think you'll hopefully see a nice snowball effect with more companies coming to Marlboro.
And Tim, you're moving here
this year. So we'll be moving here at the April-May timeframe, but I agree with the two of them. I think not only are you going to get the larger size companies, but as some of these smaller companies, these entrepreneurial companies, who most of them start off in the Boston area, they're going to start looking for space as they continue to grow. That's not quite as expensive as, say, the Boston area, the Cambridge area, or any of these other areas. So when, as Peter says, when you have a grouping of companies who are already here, already exist here, I think it's a very attractive place for some of the smaller startups as well.
Perfect. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for being here. Timothy Anderson, Peter Hebert, and Tim Cummings. And thank you at home for staying with us. This brings us to the end of our show. Remember, you can send us your comments or questions on Facebook and Twitter. Use the hashtag Let's Connect. You can also email us at info@marlboroedc.com, and you can stay up to date on MEDC's activities on its website at marlboroedc.com. That's all for me from now. I'm Laura Markova, and I'll see you next time on Let's Connect. Take care.